this is Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Okay, so I was on boxingscene.com earlier, and I got a chance to see the article. I believe Anthony Joshua, he did an interview with Sky Sports, and they were asking him about the David Price sparring session that took place 2010. And I talked about it when David Price first brought it up, and I just kept saying the word allegedly because I didn't know for sure. You know, it was just David Price saying it, but different sources were saying that it did happen. So Joshua, which I like, came out and said, yeah, you know, it did happen. He said that he got dropped in sparring and he got up and he continued training. So there's still some discrepancy there as to the severity of the knockdown, because Price says he knocked him out, you know, knocking somebody out and then just decking somebody and they get up. I mean, it's two different things, but either way, whatever the case, Joshua got put on his ass, okay? So we understand that. It was 2010. I'm not trying to make excuses, but let's just take it for what it was back then. I mean, Price was the Olympian, won the bronze in 2008. He's been boxing since, what, 2002, 2003. So during that sparring session, the dude had like 8 years of experience. He was an Olympian. Joshua was, I believe he just won some type of novice championship as an amateur. Price was a professional, so he had to, I look back at 2010, I'm not sure when this happened exactly in 2010, but he had to have been somewhere between 4-0 and 8-0 as a pro. So we're talking about a pro that's between 4-0 and 8-0, won a bronze medal in the Olympics, was an Olympian, fighting against a guy whose best achievement up until that point was a novice championship, I believe. But no excuses. I mean, he dropped him. He did what he was supposed to do, man. You know, if you were a fighter and you've been fighting for 8 years or whatever, and you were Olympian, and you drop somebody who just been fighting for 3 years, is that really a huge accomplishment? Now, when you fast forward and looking at it in hindsight, well, yeah, looking back on it now, but that was 7 years ago. I mean, Dillian White also put Anthony Joshua down and beat him in the amateurs, and Joshua put him to sleep when they fought in a real fight. But I understand where Price is coming from, and I even said this before. Back then when I kept saying, if it is true, I can understand his confidence. Because in his mind, he's like, Anthony Joshua, I remember kicking his butt 7 years ago. So I can understand his mindset. But what also has happened in the last 7 years is David Price has went to sleep twice, or he's been stopped twice. Now, you can bring up the drug test situations with Tony Thompson and Erkin Tepper. Fair enough. Fair enough. But all I know is on fight night, he got stopped. That's all I saw on fight night is him getting stopped. But I'm glad that Anthony Joshua came out and actually spoke about this, and he's not lying about it or doing the whole, you know, oh, I don't recall that ever happening, or it was so long ago I can't even remember, because I've heard guys say that. You know what I mean? Guys get worked over and sparring and they pull the whole, I don't know what happened. And then there's 30 people that were at the gym that day that give the account of what happened. But I'm glad that he came out and spoke on it. I mean, it was 7 years ago. I mean, what can we really take from it? And I brought this up in another video. I mean, I can run down a huge list of names of guys getting dropped in sparring. You know, the most one that's used a lot is Mike Tyson getting dropped by Greg Page. The thing with that situation is there's actually footage of it. It's not just word of mouth or guys that were in the gym. But yeah, Anthony Joshua came out and said he was, you know, indeed dropped by David Price. Now, he didn't say he was knocked out. He just said he was knocked down. But he got decked, you know, so it is what it is. And I don't know why people are running with this like, yeah, see, I told you he was chinny. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like the guy is a heavyweight. They're the big boys up in there, man. So this doesn't surprise me at all. Just like it wouldn't have surprised me if Joshua was the one that decked him, you know. But I like to see him, you know, if Price really wants that work, though, I would just like for him to, you know, just keep fighting. At least take one meaningful fight, though. You know what I mean? And then if there's a voluntary defense or whatever's going on, but I know Josh was talking about fighting Klitschko next year for the WBA super title. There's a lot going on right now. But with David Price, I would like to see him take some type of meaningful fight. You know what I mean? I understand his little stay busy fights against, I can't remember these guys, Pedstar and some other guy that he fought. I can't remember the two guys he fought previously. But let's just take a meaningful fight now. Whether it's Huey Fury, Adrian Granat, the prospect, has been calling you out. And for those you're going to say, hey, a guy like Granat doesn't deserve it. It's like, he doesn't deserve what? a shot at Price? Like, we're really sitting up here saying guys they need to deserve a shot at Price. Price is good for the division. He has heavy hands and he's a big guy. And when you're strong and you're big like that, you're always going to have some type of a chance, man. So it's not like I don't want to see Price fight, but I like to see him not just live off of you knock down Anthony Joshua in 2010. Just think about it, man. Joshua had just really started fighting, and then he was Olympian 2 years after that. And then Price was so ahead of him at that time, that following year, Price was the primary sparring partner for David Haye when David Haye was preparing for his fight with Klitschko. So he was much more advanced than Anthony Joshua back then. But it is what it is. It happened, you know, and I'm glad that AJ came out and spoke on it. Could Price put him on his ass again if they fought in a real fight? It's possible. It's possible. I'm not counting that out. You know what I mean? It is very possible, man. And he's bigger than Anthony Joshua, too, as far as weight and height. So it's very possible. But I just want to see Price. Let's just fight something meaningful. Like I said, I'd rather see him fight Adrian Granat than fight some journeyman to, quote, stay busy. You know what I mean? Michiel Wallace, Tom Swatch, maybe, you know, one of the German guys, or Ajit Kabayel. I'd rather see one of those fights. Christian Hammer, Edmund Gerber, something. Just give us something, man. You know what I mean? But yes, it's true. AJ did get dropped by David Price, man. So it's not allegedly. It's actual fact. AJ came out and said it himself. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think, hey, man, this is just sparring a lot of the great fighters? I mean, I don't feel like going through a list of people. I did that in my last video. A lot of fighters been dropped, not just heavyweight, welterweight, middleweight. It's gym wars. I mean, I heard so many gym wars out of the Crunk gym from back in the day. You know what I mean? So it's gym wars, man. But let me know what you think in the comment section, man. I'm out.